Hello everyone, welcome to Math 1316 Trigonometry. I'm Mr. Lee. I'm excited to be getting started with this course. It'll cover a lot of different things, but we're going to go ahead and focus on the first section, which is 5-1 angles for now. And the videos will usually be about 8 to 10 minutes, unless I'm finishing a section, in which case it could be shorter, but it should never be more than about 10 minutes. Otherwise, I'll break it into multiple videos. And that's how we'll handle most of the course. Okay, 5.1 starts primarily with angles. Complementary and supplementary angles are the first two ideas. Two angles are complementary if they add to 90 degrees. Two angles are supplementary if they add to 180. A lot of your homework problems will ask you to find the complement and then the supplement. The supplement of the angle in question should always be 90 more than the complement. So if you can get the complement easily, you can always add 90 to it to get the supplement. One thing that you may or may not have seen before is that degrees can be broken down further into minutes and seconds. 1 degree can be broken down into 60 minutes, kind of like an hour, and 1 minute can be then broken down further into 60 seconds. Now, if you're looking at minutes or seconds, it will look like minutes will look like they have about 1 apostrophe after them, whereas seconds will have 2 apostrophes after them. And we'll talk about strategies for how we handle those. So how this is going to work is I'll probably do, say, 1 and 3, or maybe 1 and 4, and I'll leave the others for you to do. And then once I'm done, I will upload a completed version of the notes so that you can see if you can practice and do them yourselves and check your answers so that it gives you an idea if you know what you're doing or not. Okay, so find the complement and supplement of the following angles. These ones aren't too bad. We'll start with the complement always. So if the two angles add up to 90 in order to be complementary, then that means in order to find the complement of a given angle, you'll subtract 90 degrees minus the angle that you're given. So 90 minus 17 is 19 degrees. Pretty easy. And the supplement of the angle would be the same with 180 minus 71 degrees, which is 109 degrees. As mentioned, you can very easily go from the complement to the supplement by just adding 90 degrees to the answer. If you don't want to plug it back into the formula, it's particularly helpful on ones like number 3 or 4, where you're having to do minutes and seconds. I'll leave number 2 for you to do, and we'll leave number 3 because 4 is slightly harder. We're going to do that one together. So normally, if you have to do this, I'm going to subtract vertically when I have minutes and seconds so we can talk about a few things. So a 90-degree angle normally has 0 minutes and 0 seconds if you're subtracting. Now this subtraction should work exactly like your subtraction did in the past. If you don't have enough, you have to borrow. Now we know that to borrow from degrees, 90 degrees will become 89 because that 1 degree became 60 minutes so that I could subtract our minutes. So we turned 1 degree into 60 minutes by breaking it into its components so that we have enough minutes to subtract. The same thing can happen with your minutes and seconds. I don't have enough seconds here, so in order to make 60 seconds, I have to borrow 1 from my minutes. So really, if you're breaking down 90 degrees into minutes and seconds, it will be 89 degrees, 59 minutes, and 60 seconds, because that 1 60-second will turn into 60 minutes, and 60 minutes would take us to the next degree. And from there, you'll just subtract your components. 60 minus 8 is 52 seconds. 59 minutes minus 34 minutes is 25 minutes. 89 minus 22 is 67 degrees. So our complement here is 67 degrees, 25 minutes, and 52 seconds. Like I said, the supplement, the easiest way to do this is add 90 degrees to it. So the supplement of this should be 157 degrees, 25 minutes, and 52 seconds. So that's the general strategy. For number 3, where you only need minutes, you don't need to break it down further than the 89 and 60 and subtract from there. Now there's some additional applications of minutes and seconds here. 2 supplementary angles are listed as 2x minus 8 and 7x minus 10, so this is an algebraic conception of this question. Find the value of each angle and repeat the process as if they were complementary. So as a reminder, if the 2 angles are supplementary, they add to 180, which means we could say 2x minus 8 degrees plus 7x minus 10 degrees has to equal 180. And you don't necessarily need the degree marking for this. This is just me showing you that these two angles are in degrees. So that really x is in degrees. Combine your like terms and you get 9x minus 18 degrees equals 180. You can leave the degrees symbol off. Now your goal is to get x by itself. So add 18. So 9x equals 198. And then when you divide by 9, you get x is 22 degrees. Now, this is the value of x. It wanted the value of each angle, which means I need to take that x and plug it back into each of these. So 2 times 22 minus 8 is 44 minus 8, which is 36 degrees. Meanwhile, 7 times 22 minus 10 is 154 minus 10, or 144 degrees. And you can see that these do add up to 180. Now, if you're doing complementary, the only difference is, so this one was supplementary. If you're doing complementary, instead you get 9x minus 18 equals 90 instead of the 180 here, and you repeat the same process. So 9x is 108, so x would then be 12 degrees, and you'll plug that 12 in. So I think your first angle, 2 times 12 is 24, 24 minus 8 is 16 degrees, and then similarly 7 times 12 is 84, minus 10 is 74 degrees, and you can see that those two add up to 90 respectively. So that's really just an strategy to use the algebra to make things happen for you. Now, if you can subtract something from complementary or add them using minutes and degrees and seconds, that means you can also just straight up subtract angles that are listed in minutes or seconds or add them. The one thing to remember is we'll do this with adding. We saw with subtracting you have to borrow sometimes to make things line up. With adding, you just need to make sure that if you go over the total, that you roll it into the next thing, and you're like, what does that mean? Let's see with this adding. You notice when you add these together, you'll have 69 degrees and 91 minutes. But 91 minutes is more than the number of minutes in the degrees. It's kind of like when you add two ones places and you have to carry the one or something like that in the next. It's like that. We know that 60 minutes equals 1 degree, which means if I subtract 60 minutes here, I can add 1 degree here because they are equivalent sizes. So this is really 70 degrees, and 31 minutes is the appropriate way to write this answer. If you have decimal or you're converting angles to decimal degree notation, remember that each minute is 1/60th of a degree, so you would just put the minutes over 60. Now, if 1 degree equals 60 minutes, and 1 minute equals 60 seconds, then 60 times 60 means that 1 degree is actually 3,600 seconds, which is 60 times 60. So if you're taking, and then you'll just toss this in the calculator. If you look at this, that should be, depending on how many decimal places they want you to round to, I'm going to toss it in. I'm going to round it to 2 decimal places. This is 37.88 degrees. This one, you'll have 82 plus, again, 46 over 60. But as mentioned, you also have to add the 3 seconds over 3,600 because there are 3,600 seconds in 1 degree. And then again, you toss it into the calculator. 82 plus 46 over 60 plus 3 divided by 3,600. And this will round to 82.77 degrees to 2 decimal places. And I will leave number 10 for you to do. It's similar. One thing to note is if there's a negative in front of this, that applies to all of them. So they're all negative. So you don't have to worry about this being negative and adding a positive. Just make sure the negative is really kind of out front of all of it. So it's really more like this. And so you apply the negative at the end, but you'll convert all of these exactly like you would do it on the previous one. And we'll continue 5.1 in the next video.